morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming at you from Kings Island in Missing, Ohio. As you guys know, I have to keep my streak of riding Orion every year since it first opened alive, which I just did that. Got front row, awesome ride. Definitely top 10 for me for right now. I'm now waiting for Flight of Fear to open, and this ride has rumors that it might not be around much longer because of how the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation has been removing a lot of attractions, like we just saw the demise of Kingda Ka this past year. We're gonna see how Flight of Fear is running, and hopefully run smoother than last year, which I nicknamed it Jank Fest the ride last year. So we're gonna be getting on this, and then we're gonna head over towards rides like Beast and Diamondback, and I'm especially intrigued about the Beast because they got some track work this year, and I'm intrigued to see how it runs now. Make sure you guys watch to the end so you can see all of what happens during this trip.
I apologize if my voice sounds a bit off. I was battling a cold during this trip, so if my voice sounds a bit scratchy, that would be why.
After waiting for a few minutes, Flight of Fear is now open and we'll be first ride of the day. Wow, Flight of Fear is stupid intense. That might actually be the most intense ride in the park now that I think about it. That ride I just had in the front row was nuts. The launch wasn't the most intense, but it was still pretty good. Quite a bit smoother than I remember it being, which is nice. And overall, I have no complaints with how it was running. This will be the first of 3 coasters with this exact layout that I'll be riding this year. Towards Beast to make that my next ride. As I was on the way over there, I saw that Backlot Stunt Coaster, now known as Queen City Stunt Coaster, has a reasonably short wait. So now would actually be a good time to knock that one out because we are looking at some thunderstorms later on today as a possibility. We have until about 3 o'clock for whenever that schedule happens. So I'm gonna try and get on as much as I can while we have good weather. So let's go take a ride on this and see how the other Premier Rides coaster in this park holds up. Beast. Backlot, I don't know what was up with it. That thing was actually unhinged today. The Helix was super intense and I definitely grayed out on it. And I thought it was much more intense than the Helix on the Beast. I also got crazy laterals in the first half of Backlot, which I'm not used to getting at all. So that was a very nice surprise. There was even a pop of air time in there too, which is cool. As for Beast, the retracking made it almost too smooth in my opinion. It didn't really have the same bite that it had last year. I'll definitely come back to it later, but as of now, Beast is on thin ice for dropping out of my top 20. Now I'm gonna try Mystic and see if it runs as good as my most recent rides, which were by far my best. It was running way too fast and I had really strong air time. So I'm not expecting much from this given how my rides on this are usually disappointing, but you never know. Things could be different today. it decided to run fantastic this ride, and I did not purposely force my body up out of my seat. I just let the ride do its thing. It decided to be really good this time. Now, I did have a ton of room, which I feel like that's the only way to get good rides on this, is if you have like max room. That being said, it's still the worst coaster here out of all the major ones that I've been on, and it's not exactly close because that's one of the only good rides I've ever had on this compared to a lot of disappointing rides. So it's definitely not moving up my list, but I will say it was good this time, which is quite rare. Like to actually ride a good B&M Hyper. Diamondback in the front row had so much airtime. It was decently smooth, great layout. It does everything better than Raging Bull does at Six Flags Great America. I don't get why people worship Raging Bull like it's the greatest thing ever. Everyone's like, oh, it's best Travis Park, best B&M Hyper. None of those are true. I think I'm gonna take a ride on Boot Blast just since I'm in the general area. Banshee a good amount between 2020 and 2025, but the ride I had just now was by far the fastest I've ever seen this thing run. The second half especially, everything from the pretzel knot all the way to the end, it was taking those elements way too fast for its own good. And I'm also doing Cedar Point on this trip, whereas in the past few times I've been to Kings Island, it's been Justice Park. Raptor has got a lot to prove if it's going to want to knock Banshee down. So yeah, Banshee was originally a mid-tier invert for me after my rides last year. That's back in the top class of inverts with how good that ride was. So definitely worth doing again. I did the front row on the last ride. Let's try it in the back row and see how it is back there. Did the back left outside on around Banshee, and it was a lot rougher in that seat compared to the front right outside. And I also thought it wasn't quite as intense, so I definitely like the front row better on Banshee. Now I'm gonna take a ride on the Bat, and this is another ride that people have been speculating could be gone in the next few years. So I'm definitely gonna get on this while I'm over here, and then we'll check in Vertigo and see how that line is. And I don't think I've ever seen a line for the Bat this long before. I've always seen it as a station wait, but not for today, it looks like. So looks like we'll be waiting a little while for this one.
rides are like that, you know, it's supposed to be.
run, but I'm not sure my ride just now was as good as it was in like 2022 or 2023. Yeah, we're the racers racing now, so you know I'm doing that. So far, I'm at 3 rides on Racer. Did 2 on the blue side, 1 on the red side. Before I rode the first time, I realized I had never done the back of the train on this ride. I've only done it in the front. So I did front and second back of blue train. But riding in the front row of the blue train, while I got ridiculous airtime because I had a lot of room, someone high-fived the train, forcing the ride up to stop the train, meaning we didn't get to race against the red side. So that ride was extremely lackluster. And then I did front row of the red side, crazy airtime, and I barely won by like a row length. So it was very, very close. Now let's do the second and back on the red side for a good measure. Just got my 4th ride on Racer, this one coming in the second back row of the red side. Unfortunately, we lost this time, and it was by about a car length, so it was pretty close, but not as close as the ride I had in the front row of the red side, where I won by a row length, so it was very close on that front row red side ride. Now I'm kind of thinking out to do Adventure Express, because that's one of the last major coasters I haven't done yet here, and then I'll have rides like Invertigo and Snoopy still to do. Adventure Express, and I don't know, I didn't really like it this time. Last year I thought it was really good and I put it over Thunderation. I'm reverting that after my ride just now. I really didn't like it that much. It was way too janky. So I'm gonna go ride Orion now because I've only done that one once on this trip and I want to get a few more on it. So let's head over there and take another ride or 2 on the best ride at Kings Island. And also my favorite operating coaster in Ohio for the state of matter, but that very well could change if I get on another coaster at Cedar Point, which I have not ridden, and you guys know which one I'm referring to.
Welcome back, everyone. How was your ride?
there. There's another one on the brakes right there, and then there's another one that's stopped, and the final brakes right up there. You can kind of see the shadow where the train stopped at. Hoping to get it up and running pretty soon here. Earlier today was a fluke or not, and after my most recent ride on this in the back row, I can confirm that it indeed was a fluke. The airtime was so much weaker. It was not a good ride experience. So I don't get how one fluke makes such a big difference in terms of ride experience, but on Mystic Timbers it absolutely does. And I was just letting the ride do its thing, and I didn't come out of my seat much. So if I essentially have to force myself to stand up on the ride, which obviously I didn't do that because that's against the rules, but if I would have to essentially force myself to stand up in order to feel the airtime, then it's not a good coaster. I've gotten a couple rides on this, I'm not gonna come back to it because A, it makes me angry. B, I'm here for only one day at this time, whereas I've been here for a couple days. And 3, there is some more rides I want to get on. Like I want to do Diamondback back row as well as Beast again. So I'm gonna go over and get on Diamondback. Hopefully get on that before the weather hits. Which I heard it might come in at 4, and I think it's around 3:30 or something. So we don't have much time left. Guess Diamondback in the back row will have to hold off until later. They shut it down for weather, and you can see right there the train is going empty. So what I could try and do is get on Snoopy, try and beat the weather to getting on that, which you can see over there. It's not looking great right now, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Snoopy isn't gonna work either because they shut that down for weather too. So I could go ride Flight of Fear again, but that's like an hour away right now. And I imagine it's gonna be like a 2-hour wait fairly soon here because of the weather rolling into the area and shutting all of the outdoor rides down. So I think it's just that and Boo Blasters that's open right now. We've been stuck in this weather delay for at least an hour and a half at this point, but I saw something that gives me some hope we might be getting towards the end of this. I saw the red side of Racer Cycle empty. Now, I did see only blue side running for a little bit after I got those racing rides on it when I was over at Orion. I saw the red side was down, so I don't know, maybe they're getting ready to open it back up. I see people getting back in line for Mystic right now, but I don't know. If the rides are actually getting closer to reopening, I'm gonna go over to the Beast, because that's where I was gonna go on my way towards Mystic and Diamondback, and after I did Diamondback, I was gonna circle back towards Beast. So I'm gonna go wait for the Beast to reopen, and then do Diamondback back row. Beast is back open now, so let's see if it can redeem itself after my semi-disappointing ride earlier this morning. First ride was definitely a fluke because that second ride I just got was much better. So much faster. I thought it was even smoother, much more intense. Overall, a much better ride experience all around. And is way better than Raging Bull in the back row. That first drop on Diamondback is so good in the back, easily B&M's best drop, and it's not close at all. And I forgot just how sustained the airtime on that thing is. Every single hill, I was getting really good airtime. Not even to mention, I got destroyed on the splashdown, which when you ride the very back row on Diamondback and you don't get stoned from the splashdown, did you even ride the back row on that thing? Let's be real here. Now that I did the back row on Diamondback, let's do Snoopy Soapbox Racers and get on that. And then hopefully by then Invertigo's gonna be able, because I haven't seen Invertigo run in quite some time, and the app says it's temporarily closed. I just said that earlier, so I hope it's not down for the day, but it's possible. So let's take a ride on Snoopy and see if we can get on this in case it closes again. a Snoopy soapbox race a little bit ago, and while I thought it was really solid, I do prefer Good Gravy. The thing with Good Gravy is that it's a longer ride and it's better themed, whereas Snoopy has decent theming, but it's also a really short ride. It's mainly the longer ride cycle that puts Good Gravy ahead, although the audio of the Peanuts characters cheering you on as you go around the layout is really cool on Snoopy. Now I'm gonna go try Invertigo, because that's the last of the big coasters that I haven't done here. And then all I'll have left is the kiddie coasters like Woodstock Express, Great Pumpkin Coaster, and Woodstock's Air Rail. I might do those tonight, but also at the same time, I don't know if I feel the need to, but I don't know, it'd be cool to say I did every single coaster at Kings Island in the same day. So I might do them after Vertigo, but I'm not sure. Vertigo was rather long earlier. It is so much more manageable now. So I feel like this should be pretty quick. What I said about Flight of Fear possibly being the most intense ride in the park, that easily goes to Invertigo. When I got off, I heard someone say that they couldn't walk straight. I agree with that. That's how intense that ride is. I definitely want to try it on the opposite end of the train, which I'll be at Cedar Point tomorrow and then the next 2 days after that. But then I will be stopping back here for like a half day on the way back. So I'll try Invertigo on the other end of the train on that time when I'm stopping back. Eventually, I'll be dropping out and she sits in the middle. third ride on Banshee while I was over here because my other two rides earlier today were phenomenal. And lo and behold, it was running even faster, which that's to be expected because it's 8:30 right now. I rode it around noonish, so it's been about 8 hours since I rode this, and boy was it flying. I'm seriously tempted to put this thing ahead of Afterbird for my number 3 invert, but I cannot put it ahead of Montu and Busch Gardens Tampa, which is currently my top B&M invert, or have me on the ride at Six Flags Great America, which I rode during CoasterCon. I got some bonkers rides on that, and that's now my number 2 invert. So I'm seriously tempted to put Banshee over Afterbird, but I don't think I can do it just yet. Every coaster in the park today. I figured I might as well do the 3 remaining coasters I haven't done yet here in Planet Snoopy. So I just did Great Pumpkin Coaster, which it was a coaster. That's what we say about it. And now all I have left are the 2 Woodstock coasters. So let's go get on Woodstock Express, which is just ahead of me here. And then we'll finish things off with Woodstock's Air Rail. I just got a Zen ride on Woodstock Express. That's how empty it was over there. That was by far the silliest ride of the day because of it. Yeah, there really wasn't any force to it, but it was still cool to be the only one on it. Woodstock Express was the 3rd Zen ride I've had at this park after Beast in 2021 and Orion in 2022. So I figured that's something worth sharing. Let's do Woodstock's Air Rail, and imagine we get a Zen ride on that. That's hilarious. Now that I've done Woodstock's Air Rail, I've done every single coaster at Kings Island in one day, which I've never done before in the 6 years I've been coming here. And I say 6 because I've come every year since 2020, and this will be year 6 I've come to this park. So now I'm gonna go and wait for Orion. Make that my last ride of the night. Now I'm probably not gonna be able to get on it because they're gonna stop operations at 9:30 and it's around 9:10 now. So I don't know how long the line for it is right now, but I imagine it is long because I know Beast line builds up right before they delay that for fireworks. They do that for Orion too. So let's go over there and wait for that. No way, it's a walk-on. I did not expect to see this. Looks like we're getting another ride before the fireworks as well, so we'll be at 4 on it for today. The ride on Orion I had just now featured one of the craziest visuals I've ever seen on a coaster. Cresting the lift hill and seeing the moon right in front of me was so crazy, and it gave me goosebumps because of how crazy it was. So Orion at night, it is so good. Definitely a good way to end out my full day here at Kings Island. My final ride count from today was 4 on Orion and Racer, 3 on Banshee, 2 on Diamondback, Mystic Timbers, Great Pumpkin Coaster, Beast, and Boo Blasters, and then 1 on every other coaster in this park. In terms of highlights, Orion was running phenomenal as usual. Diamondback in both the front and back was really good. Mystic Timbers on my first ride was even good. And then obviously I can't forget about Banshee as well as Backlot Stunt Coaster. Both of those were running phenomenal today as well, and by far the best I've ever seen. I'll be here for another half day, and I'll be getting on some of these coasters here and seeing how they compare to some of the coasters I rode over at Cedar Point. So let's jump to there. We're actually not gonna be jumping today to this yet because I forgot to mention there are Canada geese here, aka Cobra chickens. This is the 3rd park in the past month and a half that I've seen them at. The first time being at Holiday World for Hollywood Nights, and then Indiana Beach for CoasterCon. Seems like they always follow me to whichever park I go to. Now let's jump to the rail this time. We're back at Kings Island for our half day today. It is a little after 4:15 since we were coming back from Cedar Point today. You'll be able to get my thoughts on all my rides at Cedar Point in that vlog when that comes out. We're gonna see what we can get on in the 5.5 hours we have here. You might be wondering, you only have 5.5 hours. What are your priorities for today? There's a couple coasters here that I want to compare to the counterparts at Cedar Point. Like I want to compare Banshee to Raptor, Diamondback to Magnum, and Orion to Millennium Force. Before I get on all of those, I do want to try Invertigo facing backwards. When I was last year, I did it facing forwards. So I figured let's go do Invertigo facing backwards since that's pretty close to the front of the park. I figured that if I start over there and then work my way this direction, that would be smarter because I wouldn't have to walk all the way around the park to get to a certain ride that I'd be doing like Invertigo, then I'll plan to do Banshee, then make my way towards like Orion. So let's start off with Invertigo facing backwards and make that my first ride of the day. just got off of Invertigo facing backwards, and it was a solid ride as always. But that being said, I don't think it's as good as facing forward. Let's go ride Banshee now and see how this compares to Raptor. As for which row I want to do, I'm trying to decide whether I want to ride it in the front or the back. I've ridden the front row twice on this trip and once in the back, but also the front was so good a couple days ago, and I'm intrigued to see if it was a fluke. So maybe a bit the short wait, I'll get both a try, but I don't know. They're double stacking on Banshee. This is something I'm not used to seeing at Kings Island, but every once in a while this happens. And I can confirm that our rides a couple days ago were not a fluke. This thing is running so good this year. But that being said, I still cannot put it over Afterburst. So I think this is my number 4 B&M invert still, which it was somewhere towards the middle of the pack prior to this year, but then I got some great rides on it and now it's back in the top 5. I think I'm gonna go get on Orion. I'm really intrigued about that one because Millennium Force was awesome when I rode at Cedar Point, but I'll get more into detail about that in the Cedar Point vlog. So let's head over towards Area 72 and get on Orion. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to get on Flight of Fear because that's got a 70-minute wait last I checked and we don't have much time. So might have to pass on doing that, but it's alright. experience on Millennium Force, I was not. Orion was every bit as good as I remembered it to be. As what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ride Diamondback, do front and back on that. Now we are looking at a little bit of a wait for that one. It was like 30 minutes last I checked. So seems like it'll be at least an hour before I'm able to get front and back on it. But I do want to ride it a couple more times while I'm here. On Diamondback, one in the front, one in the back, and both of them were awesome. As you guys can tell, the sun is starting to go down, so it's time to go get ready for a Beast Night Ride. I haven't done a Beast Night Ride yet on this trip, so let's see how it goes. with the ride. What the frick was that? That is my custom nickname for whatever that ride on Beast was just now. I actually have never been in a mosh pit at a metal concert, and I actually have seen Metallica once. They came to my hometown of St. Louis in November 2023, but I wasn't on the floor, so I wasn't able to partake in a mosh pit. But if I had to imagine what that felt like, I would say my most recent ride on Beast is what I imagine a mosh pit felt like. That was absolutely unhinged. Great way to end my time here at Kings Island. Y'all better be ready!
Other than getting hurt.
No, just kidding. We're not delirium. Enjoy your ride on the unsponsored Beast. Have fun.
My final ride count from my half day here at Kings Island was pretty self-explanatory. 2 on Diamondback and then 1 on Banshee, Beast, and Vertigo and Orion. Now I'm gonna review my ride count over the entire day and a half I spent here and share that with you guys. My final ride count from my day and a half here at Kings Island was 5 on Orion, 4 on Banshee, Diamondback, and Racer, 3 on Beast, 2 on Invertigo, Mystic Timbers, and Boo Blasters, and then 1 on every other coaster in this park. In terms of highlights, Backlot Stunt Coaster, absolutely knocking my socks off on the one ride I got, was insane. Banshee was running a lot better than it was last year. Beast was running great as well. Diamondback was awesome. Orion maintaining that streak. Flight of Fear was running great too. There were so many good rides at this park. And before I click off this video, please be sure to leave a like if you haven't done so already. Be sure to comment what you enjoyed about this video and be sure to share it with someone else you may know. If you're new to this channel, like what you saw, please consider subscribing for more content like this. I'd appreciate you subscribing and turn the bell on so you get notified every time I upload a new video. I also have an Instagram account for the pictures I take whenever I visit the park, so be sure to check me out there as well via the link in the description. As for my next vlog, it'll be from the one, the only Cedar Point, so stay tuned for that. Until then, I'll see you later.
Yeah.